Welcome, everybody. This is the October 25th update for the Zen Biweekly Update. We got a lot of things going on. 2 weeks is a long time in the cryptocurrency world. We've had a lot of stuff happen that is good, and we're going to go through it. And we'll have time for questions at the end, and we'll have a few people joining us during the middle. So we have the channel on the Discord. That's the Biweekly Update channel. If you have questions, you're certainly welcome to type them in there. If you are seeing this on the YouTube stream, which I expect you are, you can type them in there as well. So let's go ahead and get going. Oh yeah, this is Rolf Versluis, by the way, and I think Rob might join us at some point. He's traveling to Tahiti for the Seasteading Conference, and we have a nice partnership there. Okay, so big picture, this is just a high level. We're going to go into detail on all these different things here as we're going. We've got a lot of different news. What we consistently try to do is grow the value of the Zencash project for everybody. And I want to talk a little bit about some of our theories and practice behind that. And I'm just going to make sure that we're streaming. And then we're moving from Slack to Discord. Some of you probably might have gotten some spam in Slack here over the last few weeks. And that is something that is just the way that Slack works, and they wouldn't work with pretty much any cryptocurrency or other group to stop the spam. And so we've already been using Discord. Now we're just going to be using it a little bit more. There's a lot of software development update. We'll go through the detail on all those things. We've had some radio and podcast interviews, and we've got some more coming up, which is great because that gets the word out to everybody. Got some conference presentations as well. And we've got a Zen logo contest, another one. And we got some previews of those here for y'all to see. And then we can talk a little bit about how people can help. Okay, so Zencash, developing value. One of the things that is what we've developed as we go together is a team working together, software, relationships. And as we do this over a period of time and more people find out about us and we build trust and we build more capabilities and we engage in these rapid iterative feedback loops to see what works for people, what doesn't work for people, what people want, we get to a place, well, I guess it's not a place because it's an ongoing process, it's a long road where we increase the value of the cryptocurrency, increase the usefulness of it. And that's one of the central guiding purposes behind what we're going to do. And some of that, even though at some point we want to be a completely trustless cryptocurrency, we have to build trust with everybody that we work with. And that takes a long time to do. It can be quickly be broken, as a side note, but it's a pretty simple thing to do. Just say what we're going to do it, and repeat. And keep doing that over and over again. And as we do that and listen to the community and the users and the people that we work with, we're able to develop value in the overall project. And then problems always happen. So when issues or problems or things like that come up, that's what we're here for. That's why there's people that are working, getting involved. So when problems come up, I used to get very concerned and unhappy and expected everything to go well. But these days, I expect problems to happen. It's nice to be able to do all sorts of things to avoid them. But when they come up, use that as an opportunity to work together to solve the problems, and sometimes just through that situation, you get to have a much closer working relationship and enjoyable practice of really getting things done. All right, so yeah, I guess one of the problems we had was all the spam in the Slack, so we're addressing the problem. Discord is designed for a large amount of people and gamers and all sorts of things like that, and so we're moving it to Discord, and it's got the ability to do the voice conferences like we're on right now. and integrate, and it's just it seems to be a better overall platform for what we're doing. And some of the channels are bridged right now, so you'll see that people type things into Discord and they'll show up in Slack and vice versa. And that's a little bit confusing, especially when there is no ability to do emoticons or share pictures, or if you don't have the same exact username on the Slack and the Discord, it doesn't come through. So we don't want to lose people, but going forward, we are going to reduce the bridging of the channels, encourage people to move over to the Discord and use the application. And we've already changed the new signups because there's really no ability for people to sign up on Slack anymore. Part of the reason just to keep our Slack active and not have the entire Slack deleted was that we get rid of the open signup. And one of the things that I'm concerned about is that possibly at some point there's going to be some other violation that we have of what Slack does, and then they just delete our entire thing. So we're going to proactively get out in front of that. Okay, so we are a startup organization and such, and we're rapidly growing and evolving. And so one of the things is this isn't just new. This is things that people and organizations have done before. Grow organizations and become successful. And I like to read, from some of the leaders in this field. And a lot of people have heard of Mark Andreessen, founded Netscape and other companies that have gone on to be multi-billion-dollar companies. And from a class at Stanford, and I was just out at Stanford this week, so that reminded me of this, is the only thing that matters is getting to product market fit. And one of the things that he says is, given a good product and given a good team and given a good market, you always want to have a good market that you're going after. And one of the things that's a heck of a lot of fun about the cryptocurrency industry is this is growing so fast. It's a wonderful market, and there's so many different ways to create products that address real needs for people. So as we carve out our niche and figure out what's working really well for our market and define that, then we have a big opportunity to succeed. And I like the way that we're doing, which is to rapidly take action and evolve and continue to improve. And that iterative feedback loop is a virtuous cycle that can really get us to being the leading privacy coin. And the way I think of our market at this point in time, although that evolves too, is people who want public and private anonymous transactions, communications, and publishing. So pretty straightforward. If we're going to do that, people are going to want it to be secure and reliable. If you're going to be using an app and you're going to be doing transactions with it and communicating with people and publishing stuff, you want it to work all the time. And that means that we as a team need to think ahead and say, okay, what are all the potential problems that could cause disruptions of the system that we're building, and get out ahead of those and design systems and processes and code and things to prevent those from happening. And if they do happen, how we're going to adjust and change. So that's fun to do, actually, is to think out and game out all those things. And heck, as long as we're going to go through and create all this stuff, let's have some nice, slick user interfaces and really have fun when we use the applications. One of the biggest things is to expand our community of users. If you look at all the different cryptocurrencies out there, there's ways that people work to get folks to buy their cryptocurrency and to make use of it. And you see a lot of this has evolved over the years, and you see that there's staking wallets where people are encouraged to hold their cryptocurrency in a wallet and not spend it, and then they'll get rewarded for doing that. Masternodes is a variety of that, where people are encouraged to hold a bunch of currency in that, and that works for those cryptocurrencies. But I think it's possible to if we can make Zencash into a useful cryptocurrency, that all sorts of people are going to want to acquire it and use it. And that's much more powerful than the people that want to just invest it and get interest payments off it. And that also gives us the opportunity to expand into so many different areas all over the world and actually make a difference. And if we can get to the point where people are using it in face-to-face transactions, just like people use cash right now, and they do that with they do these secure and private transactions with people that they know, we can get so many people in the world using Zencash that we don't have to worry about who's holding onto it or who's mining it or who's selling it. It's just going to be people use it more and more. And that means not only do we get a lot of people inside the cryptosphere involved with it, and part of the plan was that we have miners and speculators by getting onto exchanges, investors, but also mining pools and developers and merchants and marketing people. And we do this by having the ability for people to do proposals to say, hey, I want to market Zencash and like to get paid in it. And secure nodes are actually a way of attracting IT sysadmins. And what we've gone through as we've gone through this whole development process for secure nodes is everybody who's been involved in the testing process and wanting to see how to do and build the secure nodes has gotten intimately involved with how shielded transactions work. And if you look at it, that's actually quite an accomplishment, because the shielded transactions that Zcash created, when they first came out, I think about a year ago, people looked at it and said, well, that's neat. We're just going to let someone else figure out how to use them. But what we've done is gone through and gotten a whole bunch of people who are influential and knowledgeable to actually use them. And I think that's going to have big benefits for us. Then further, we want to get outside the cryptosphere. And that's a little bit more difficult to do. That's why we've got marketing and public relations involved. And we want to figure out, okay, who are the people that really want to have and use Zencash? And go to conferences, go to meetups. That's why our different international ambassadors that are going out and bringing the word out and letting people know about Zencash and what you can do with it are so important. It's one of the reasons Rob went to a conference in Oslo last week and is going to Tahiti this week, and I'm going to Austin, which is not quite as exciting, but I've never been to Austin, so I'm looking forward to it, and then to Bogota here in December. So if we get out and do these conferences and meet different people who are interested and do presentations, it gives us the ability to really get the word out. And we want people to actually spend Zencash, because again, I think it's a lot more powerful if a whole bunch of people have Zencash in their wallet and spend it. And private messaging, which is one of the unique features that we have, is spending. It's spending very small amounts, but it is spending. So it gets us going down that path. All right, so an update on secure nodes. The secure nodes beta system late last night, or secure nodes went to beta late last night, excuse me. I was up late last night too, putting together part 3 of my update guide, which was actually a complete guide, start to finish, on how to build and run a secure node. There's lots of different ways to do it, so the guide that I wrote is just one way, but it gets a lot of people started. So Alan and Chronic spent a lot of time here since the 2-week update 2 weeks ago, working on building out the server cluster, modifying the application, working with some of our more prolific testers early on over the last few days, and just getting everything going. And this is developing software and getting it running on 3 data center clusters all over the world, and setting it up for security and backup and reliability. It's difficult and complex work. And as soon as you think you got one thing figured out, another issue pops up. So it's running well now. Here, I took a picture, and this is just since, 1 a.m. Today. We've already got 133 servers running on it globally. I think we have more than 400 nodes right now for Zencash. And if a lot of these people that are running Zencash nodes are like me, where I'm like, well, I'll put a few of them on the test net, but I'm going to do more of them once we're at mainnet testing. That's a good indicator that we're going to have well over 1,000 secure nodes soon after we go into production. And so the idea behind what we're doing now is to run everything on testnet on the server cluster that is intended to be used to go to production. And as soon as we test the failover and test the scaling that we're doing now on testnet, we will be able to switch over to mainnet testing, which means that people will use real Zen in their wallet and their addresses, and real Zen on the shielded for the shielded transactions on their nodes. And assuming that goes well, as quickly as possible, we're going to shift over to doing payments because secure nodes are important. But one of the reasons that we can get such attention is that there's going to be payment for people that are running these secure nodes. When something's really important, you pay people for it. Okay, Arizen Wallet. So this is a new wallet that Lucas's developer team has been working hard on. It is launched. Here are some screenshots. It's a beautiful wallet. It's got different features from the Swing wallet. I love that we have multiple desktop wallets with different capabilities and features and things that folks stress. I expect I'm going to be running both wallets because I like them so much. And so some of the things that the Arizen wallet has: multiple accounts, encrypted wallet data, which is great. You don't have to take your wallet DAT file and put it in an encrypted Vercrypt file and then take it offline. You can leave it there and running. Updates for new code, and working on Windows, Mac, and Linux. And it's a light wallet, so you don't need to download the entire blockchain. So a nice different implementation from the Swing wallet that we have. And there's definitely going to be people that prefer one or the other, and that's okay. Here's some more screenshots, and you can look through and see multiple addresses and sending and receiving and QR codes that you can scan and all sorts of different things like that. And again, we're going to have opportunity for questions and answers, and easiest way to do that is probably going to be typing them in on the live stream chat on the YouTube or on the biweekly update chat on the Discord. Anyway, then we have more updates to the mobile wallet. Mobile wallet right now is running on Android, which is wonderful. It's really handy. And this is an old screenshot. I'm sure there's way more than 100 downloads now. I should go do an updated screenshot. And Kendrick has done some updates. We've had people contribute translations to the Zen wallet, the Zen mobile wallet, which is awesome. Norwegian and Chinese are the latest ones. Alert users when there's no internet connection, because it's tough to do a transaction when you don't have an internet connection. And then you want to be able to store contacts, so you can, instead of having to memorize Zen addresses and who they relate to. And there's other things that are in progress. So one of the things that would be neat to do is to be able to have a small node operating, say, at your house or something like that, maybe on an Intel NUC or a laptop or something like that that's dedicated to being your own node. And imagine, because having a node enables you to do shielded transactions. So imagine having a mobile wallet that connects to your own node that you run that's able to do shielded transactions. And then after that, would be able to do, as time goes on and the software gets more and more features, to be able to do messaging and publishing. There's a lot of different parallel paths towards the development to being able to do shielded transactions on mobile wallets. Controlling a node at your house or something like that is one of them. There's also other things that are in progress. So that's another thing that I'm a big believer in, is parallel path development, with multiple people reaching for the goal, but in lots of different ways. And as everybody's seen, getting stuff on the Apple Store takes a bit longer. There's a different type of implementation, and they have a different process, but that's one of the things that we're working on. Okay, so there's still improvements that we're making to the Zen node software. We've made all the major improvements this summer of the transaction replay protection and the updates to being able to do multi-sig and putting TLS so that there's secure transport as the default way that the nodes communicate to each other. There's additional ability for us to bring improvements from Zcash into Zencash, so we're certainly going to be able to do that, and those will add additional features and stability improvements. And we're continuing to have developers working on the Ledger Wallet application. It's actually a complicated little application that we are modifying, and some of the transaction replay protection is making it a little bit complicated, but we've got, last time I checked on that channel, I know 6 or 7 people actively working on it and testing it. And we still have the Coinomi wallet integration going on, even though that's pretty slow. But these are active projects, and not that our developers work on the beach, but oftentimes after an extended session of development and improvements and upgrades like Alan and Chronic just had, they deserve a day at the beach, or maybe a week or even a month. David, are you on here? Want to get an update
Yes,
from you and then
sir.
from Arno. So please take it away.
Absolutely. Thanks. Everybody can hear me well, right, Rolf?
Yes.
Excellent. Well, hey everyone, a little bit of update about our Eastern European and Russian market. We have struck another major partnership with a company called Coin2Pay.com. It is a Netherlands-based company that's been in the business since about 2014, and they've actually earned a quite solid reputation by having a competitively low transaction cost, at least for cryptocurrencies. I mean, it is lower than Western Union as far as I'm concerned. And one thing that really struck to my mind was that they have an extremely responsive customer service, much more responsive than I'm not going to name some of those for political reasons, but some of the major exchanges that you have to sometimes submit a ticket and wait for a week for them to even answer order question. So I actually tested it myself. It's not just kind of things sitting there and listed, but I tested it myself, sent my own Zen there, and then got paid back to PayPal with a minimal transaction fee. And that was pretty smooth within literally a few minutes. Now, one of the other neat features about it is that you don't just get the PayPal or one option there. You can literally transfer that money to your bank in USD, Euro, and a couple other currencies. You can also, there's some other local sort of different payment companies, like Payer is one of them that's relatively popular in Eastern Europe. And there's a few others. I just could not stuff everything on the one slide, but if you go to the website there, they will see what all the options there are. The other thing is, somebody was commenting on the YouTube just now, is you can actually go and shop on certain websites. Like Shopify is a very popular website. They have over 1 million users and billions of transactions every year. So there's a pretty simple plugin through Coin2Pay that you can apparently shop directly there. That's there. Well, a little bit about the media coverage. We have gotten extremely good sort of echo, especially after the last week's events. And I'm certainly not gonna attribute all that credit to myself. I think a lot of it was that Coin gained such a popularity for multiple reasons, and people are just reaching out and saying, "Hey, we love you guys," in Russian. And how can we help? Can we partner with you? We'll be happy to post your news on our crypto channels websites. One of them was a really nice review I just included here. It's called Kapishka в кошельке. In Russian, it basically means penny, or Russian equivalent of penny, in the wallet. And it has over 12,000 subscribers. A really smart guy doing the review. You can just YouTube it, Zencash, Kapishka в кошельке. You'll see what I'm talking about. And I asked our team to post the link somewhere, but it should be pretty easy to find. And this is just one example. I mean, there's several others that, again, because of a limitation in time and space, I'm not putting it here. And last but not the least, we could never have too many developers. I've myself interviewed 3 developers from 2 teams in the last couple of weeks. I think you all caught on the last community meeting. I mentioned one of them, and they're literally set up and ready to join the team, ready to join the project. And we're talking about specifics of what they're going to do, what are the deliverables, etc. So we're literally talking about details. And you know, so we'll basically put I don't want to reveal quite yet until I discuss it over with the rest of the team of what I have in mind, but hopefully by the next community meeting I'll have specifics of what we put them on. It's going to be one of the improvements on Zen. And I think that's what I had to say today. Thanks, Rolf.
Thanks, David. That was a great update. Y'all are doing a ton of stuff there. And I think it's just going to continue because for some reason, the people in Russia seem to like their privacy.
You know why? Especially after Putin is coming out with some interesting opinions about cryptocurrency, the privacy is going to be probably the most important feature of the coin there. So anyway, all yours.
Excellent. Thanks. And Arno, did you have an update for us?
Hi, everyone. Yes, of course, from my side, I don't have extra slide. I just want to grab David's words about the hiring. I will post some link about 2 persons, which I think are very good for the German team. There is a proposal in the Zencash forum to just get your opinions on, and the project which the 2 guys probably will work is like in the energy sector. It's about to have like a shielded transaction and get through the ZenChat app or through the messaging kind of a receipt, because the one major problem in shielded transactions is if you pay for the bills, you need somehow a receipt, like you have to have a proof that you paid or that there was a transaction, like a written confirmation of the transaction. And that's why we want to see if we can find in the business, like in the energy sector, a company who is doing kind of a use case with integrating or implementing Zen. And yeah, this is one of the projects, but it's for 3 months, and feel free to comment in the forum. Then another small news is that I reactivated the Steemit account from me and my girlfriend, of course, but there is some repos of the latest German market news. I just wanted to try out and see how the community takes it. Generally, the German market, it's somehow hard to find allies in the native language German. But I'm working on it, and I found some like crypto artists.
Oh, I think we lost you there, Arno. Are you still there? All right. Well, if he comes back, we'll have the update. I'm going to go on to the next slide. But that reminds me, I am unfortunately behind on some of the things that I've been doing, and I have some Serbian translations that that Medar has sent me, and I need to get those posted on the blog, and we'll do that. So this week we'll definitely get caught up on some of the translations, some of the postings, and the other different things that we need to do. Zencash at conferences. This is great. So part of getting the word out and talking to people is presenting the different ideas and experiences that we have with Zencash, and it gives the ability for Rob and Jane and me and whoever else goes and presents at conferences. I know Arno and David are presenting at conferences as well, to not just talk about the day-to-day aspect or the specific features, but how what we're doing fits into the overall big picture. And so Rob talks about crypto economics and how Zencash works, and uses Zencash an example of some of the things that that he studies. And I know Jane does the same thing and is very business focused. And this is a picture of her at the Hong Kong FinTech, which is going on right this week. And coming up, I mentioned this previously, Rob's doing seasteading, and then I'm going to be at the Texas Bitcoin Conference. I don't talk about crypto economics and finance and things like that. That's not my experience and deal, but I have a good history of engineering and IT experience. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about security and resiliency, and how some of the things that we're doing with Zencash is applicable to cryptocurrencies overall. And we've had some great experiences being able to work through resiliency here this year since launch, and it's going to be great to be able to relate that too. And we've got so there's Vietnam Tech Fest and Guangzhou China Innovation Fest. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in Asia, and I'm sure that Jane's going to be getting to Korea and Japan as well. And then Rob and Rosario and I will be at the Latin American Bitcoin Conference in Bogota, and that's I don't see that we have many secure nodes or nodes that show up on our node tracker in Latin America. And so that's, I think, one of the cases where we need to go have a lot of face-to-face discussions with people, and then we'll be able to make a difference there. Radio and podcast interviews, these are fun. And this is the second radio show that I've been on. And radio is interesting because they have to keep it entertaining, or people just punch the channel and turn away. And everybody has different ways of being entertaining on the radio. So as a guest, it's good to roll with that and try to help them make good radio. In this case, Rob and I were on the show with Ernie Hancock and didn't realize this till the show, but Tone Vays was in the studio sitting next to Ernie while we were talking, and he talked a little bit with us. And I thought that was going to be the end of it at the end of the radio show. But then we talked for another hour. So we went back and forth with Tony. He's a Bitcoin maximalist, and kept talking about why that he thinks that Zencash is irrelevant, and all alternative cryptocurrencies to Bitcoin are irrelevant. And then he brought up what I consider, really, you shouldn't do this if you're going to talk about altcoins, held up Dogecoin as an example of a really important altcoin. And I'm sure it was at some point, but there's a lot of other projects that are going after a lot of other things. And so as far as I'm concerned, if you bring up Dogecoin in a conversation about altcoins, you've already lost. And we're going to be on the Sovereign Tech podcast, or at least I assume that we're going to be on it if we're sponsoring it. So I'm excited that we're going to sponsor it, and looking forward to getting on the radio and doing things like that also. So all this talking that we do to people about Zencash and what our goals are, it can help sometimes. Rob talked with Teeka Tiwari out at Nexus Earth, and really didn't think much of it after that, although I know he talked to him for a little while. And then we got a very pleasant surprise when Teeka made a recommendation in his confidential pay-for newsletter, the Palm Beach Confidential, that people should buy Zen. And apparently he's got a pretty large following. And if you look at the chart here, you can see that our price went up quite a bit. So you never know. If you're nice to people, talk to people, engage with folks, what can happen? This was a very pleasant surprise. Price increases, they actually do help us because of the Treasury Fund. We're able to accelerate development and do more projects, do more marketing and PR, and then work towards our roadmap and do more things on that. So it's pleasant, and we all know that cryptocurrencies are volatile and they can go down as quickly as they go up. So just because our price compared to Bitcoin or our price compared to a dollar is up now, we shouldn't get ecstatically happy about that, because we don't want to get sad if it goes back down. We just want to keep doing our job and following through on our roadmap and making sure that we can get things taken care of for our users and partners and community and everybody else. All right, so we're going to do a new logo contest. I know last week we talked about that we had selected a logo, but that was years ago in cryptocurrency time, and a lot's happened since then, and our community's grown, and so we figured, okay, well, let's have a new logo contest, and we're going to be doing that. I don't know exactly how that's organized yet. There's been folks on the Slack and the Discord that have posted different ideas for logos, and I even went to one of the designers that I've used over the last few years and asked him to do a logo. So we're going to come up with a great way to choose a new logo, and we're going to have entries, and then we're going to, this is really going to be a chance for a lot of people to participate and have their influence on how Zencash looks going forward. So there's a lot of different logos here. And just like always, we'll post the contents of these slides afterwards so people can take a closer look at them. And that'll give some ideas of things that we might go for logos. And these are just what we have so far. I know that there's designers working on other ones, and we're going to have other logos that are going to be part of the contest. So I think it's great what we've got already, and I'm even more excited to see ones that we're going to have as part of the overall contest. Now, one of the things that we're getting more of is people reaching out and saying, how can I help? And getting lots of emails and contacts over LinkedIn and contacts for people in the Discord and the Slack and on forums and things like that. And I think it's wonderful that so many different people want to reach out and help. And some of those are people that want to sell us stuff, and that's great too. There's a limit to how much we can do in spending time discussing and bringing people up to speed. And I know whenever I was hiring employees in the past, whenever you bring someone new on, you always have to take someone that shows them the ropes and what's to do. So for people that want to help, really in a lot of cases, the best way to help is to just figure out what you're good at, what you like to do, and how you want to help, and then jump in and start doing it. And the people that jump in and start doing it and take the time to learn about Zencash and help contribute maybe even a small way, those are the people that the folks that are already part of the community and getting things done say, wow, this person, steps up, takes action, doesn't need too much direction, actually will Google something, will read a previous thread in a forum or Slack or Discord, and can figure out a way that they can contribute to the project overall. And I'm not saying that just saying, hey, we just want free help. I mean, if you have seen what we've done before, we're asking folks to make specific proposals on the forum for things to do. And sometimes it might take a little while for one of us, like Gustavo or me or Robert or Jane or anybody else, to go through and look at those proposals or answer the emails or things like that. So please don't think that we don't care. Sometimes there's just other things that we need to do, like get secure nodes going or prepare a presentation for a biweekly update or spend time with family or things like that. So we really would love to have help from people in all sorts of different ways. One of the things that I hear consistently from users is more tutorials. So one of the things that I don't know that we have yet, for example, is tutorials on how to do messaging within the Swing wallet. I mean, we have some basic ones, and folks that are good at figuring things out on their own are happy to go through it and do it. And it's one of the things that I mean to put together, but I know there's a lot of folks in our community that have the ability to write a Steemit post. If you write a Steemit post and do Zencash as one of the tags, I will find it, I'll upvote it. And I know other people will as well. And same thing with YouTube videos and Medium posts and blog posts and things like that. Anything that we see that people are doing to help Zencash do better and get the word out and help people to use it, we try to promote that as much as possible. So anyway, here's the link to our Discord. Feel free to pass that around to other people. And we really would like to continue to grow our community. And that's all for the formal presentation. I've got, I know everybody who's on here certainly has time to answer questions, and I'm going through and reading on the Discord and reading on the YouTube live stream. And let me go through and see if there's any other things. So there's ways that we need to continue to do the internationalization and other ways of getting our documentation into different languages. And I'm sure that there's ways to, for example, this live stream is in English, but there's probably going to be a way to do a voiceover or subtitles in different languages. If the live stream itself on YouTube is not set up to do that and somebody wants to, there's probably a way to enable that. Same thing goes for the different types of blog posts and documents and things like that. Anyway, I don't see any questions or other things. Anybody who's on the actual voice call here that has any other things to add, or a common question that we should go over? Okay, great. Well, like I said, 2 weeks is a long time in the crypto world. I'm sure we're going to have all sorts of updates 2 weeks from now and more things going on. I'm really happy to be part of this project. I'm really excited that there's such a great community, and I'm especially impressed by the number of people that have been helping us test the secure nodes. I think that's a great thing to do. Other exchanges. Okay, are we getting on?
Wait, Rob.
Yep. Yes,
You
or
hear
no?
me?
Yes.
Let me just ask about the alpha test of the secure nodes. Is there any reward for the people who attended in the alpha test on the test net and now going to the other mainnet, but still the test net? Is there somehow a reward for them?
We don't have a reward, and we can certainly talk about that, but there's nothing that we had planned for that. I know that the portion of the mining reward, so 3.5% of the mining reward, since we put the hard fork in place and enabled that a few months ago, that funding has been going towards paying developers and doing other things to enable the secure node functionality. I expect that there's going to be funds left over from that. I think so. And so we need to figure out a way to get that distributed to the folks. So I think the primary reward and why a bunch of people want to be on the secure node as soon as it goes onto mainnet is that when people get onto the secure nodes on mainnet, as soon as we start accruing payment credit, is that there's not going to be as many nodes, and it's going to be a larger portion of their reward. So it's kind of like mining that way. If you find out about a new cryptocurrency and you are able to start mining it, then you're able to get a larger percentage of the overall reward. I think that's a good idea. I just don't have an answer for you right now. We can talk about that.
Okay, and then I'm sorry for the disconnect before. I just want to add, I reactivated the Steam account, a Steemit account, so you will find there also some more German posts. I mentioned the artist; it's a crypto artist. Maybe he is also writing some crypto songs or something. So be excited for the Steemit content in German language.
Oh, that's wonderful. And I know Steamfest is coming up in Lisbon, so I don't know if anybody in our community is going to be there. I'd love to go to Portugal. I don't have the time to do that right now, but maybe next year. And I really think Steemit's only going to continue to grow in influence. Oh, there was a question about other exchanges. Are we going to get onto other exchanges? Yes, we are definitely working to get onto other exchanges, both onto country-specific type exchanges, whether it's Korean exchanges, Japanese exchanges, Russian exchanges, decentralized exchanges. I put in a request to SuperNet a few weeks ago, and I know Rob and Gustavo have been working extensively on contacting exchanges and working to get on them. So that'll happen over time. It's one of those things that it takes time to make happen. Every exchange usually requires some sort of integration and some sort of developer assistance, and we have folks that are ready and willing to do that. But exchanges sometimes have their own time frames and priorities and things like that. But that's definitely something that we're working towards doing. Alrighty, well, hey, this is great, and please, everybody, continue to be part of the community, contribute your ideas, challenge things that you see that we might need to improve on, and that's the way that we're going to become better. Going to have this live stream again 2 weeks from now. This is a good regular thing because there's always so many things to update. And I look forward to meeting some of you, hopefully in Austin, and then further on in Bogota and wherever any other places that we end up going to. Thanks and have a great day.